It looked for a second like chaos was on its way to Waitangi. After a very warm and sedate ceremony last year on the Upper Mare on the treaty grounds, two speakers who basically sweat controversial views were invited to speak on the Lower Timor this year, Don Brash and Brian Tamaki. Sparks were going to fly, right? But on Tuesday both Brash and Tamaki arrived to little protest. Earlier that morning, a lone woman had started to scream at MPs as they gathered up the hill, reportedly upset they were meeting at the Upper Mare instead of She was quickly led away. The most important speech of the day was again delivered from the porch of the Upper Mare by the Prime Minister. In her speech last year, Jacinda Ardern specifically asked that she be judged on her record a year later. I ask you to ask of us what we have done. Ask us how we have given dignity back to Yawa now. Ask us what we have done to improve poverty for Tamariki. Ask us what we have done to give Rangatai opportunities and jobs. Ask us, hold us to account. Because one day I want to be able to tell my child that I earned the right to stand here, and only you can tell me when I have done that, Ardern said. Her speech this year acted as a response to that first speech, mentioning progress in many of the areas mentioned, in particular the families package, fees-free education, and falling unemployment. But every point was bookended by the line, "There is still more to do." Yesterday I talked to a child in Kaika who told me this year one go to uni. And that is not something a child of a beneficiary is generally expected to do. I'd like to think we might have made that possible by taking away that barrier to education with fees free, Ardern said. She also mentioned mental health, an area her government will be putting a huge focus on in this year's budget as a response to their inquiry into the matter. A smattering of housing policies were mentioned, but Kiwi Build, which is currently being recalibrated after its interim targets were scrapped, was not mentioned. I am an optimist. I was born one, and politics has not beaten it out.